Pisces. On a roll, on a roll, on a roll. So, you are being presented something for being so still. It's almost like a reward after being like what some would say a good kid. You feel more obligated to your insights because you're right about a lot. You've been, especially as of lately. Wow, wow, wow. There's been this very clear intuitive streak, and once Mercury goes direct and we go through the full moon, you'll have even more clear view of what's changing. It's not just the season that's changing, especially if you live in an area where the season is changing right now. The season in your life is changing. You may have felt many different ways this year. But I'd say mostly you felt disappointed a lot, perhaps. This could come back to yourself and disappointed in the work that you've been putting out there, or you're disappointed in where you're at in life or whatever it is. And the truth is that you start to recognize and realize something that comes from being disciplined. This is something that Libra knows a lot about. For some of them, doesn't mean it's always good for them, but being disciplined about something is that when you do that and you see it through, whatever it is, so it's even if it's a workout that you've been doing or like, and it's getting harder, but you see it through to the end, whatever that may be for you, eventually after all of this exhaustion, pain, suffering, perhaps even physical ailments, you have relief. Something happens and maybe you begin to heal. So this month, you find a way forward through being more disciplined on your work. You find that that's what you want to do, and that brings you more clarity. Lots of aces, lots of new beginnings. Oh my gosh. Lots of change. This is a very good time for you. You and Virgo, man. Your axis is just getting it all. Wow. So some of you may be very clear and concise. So when you're interacting with people this month, boom, it's coming. When you're interacting with people this month, you realize that you've changed. You're a lot more direct in areas where you once weren't, dependent on the other person. And who would have thought Pisces can be like this? Well, sometimes a lot of us go through this, but this month it's very clear because Libras can be known for this as well. However, this season, it's not really about that. It's about being very direct, very clear. It's like you don't have time for anything else but being very direct, very clear, very straightforward with where you're at. Whether you want to be in a relationship or not, you find yourself in the perfect situation. You find yourself, the more focus you put on what you value, what makes you happy, what brings you joy, what brings you to this place of meditation in your own life. What it could be through your art, through whatever it is that you choose to do that's a passion, but you also have people pay for it. So it's something people do pay for, and it's an exchange. So you do care about what you present just as much as what you would do for yourself. And that's how, and what could make you a very crafty person. Now, through this push and through this, what could have felt very, very uncomfortable, if not painful, you're coming to this place where you're finding a lot of clarity, a lot of openness, a lot of direct energy. What you choose to direct it on is up to you, and a lot of you, it brings you to a great idea. The Wheel of Fortune comes through in many different ways. It comes through in, like, you get a burst of idea, something that brings you an influx of money. You can you find a way to communicate it easily, whether if it's you working for someone else or you selling yourself perhaps, or selling something. You find this connection where you know it's going to work. You're finding a link. Hold on one second. All right, sorry about that. And it makes you feel a lot more confident. This idea brings you so much confidence and so much, again, this direct clarity on what you want, what you're going after, why it's important, your purpose. All of these things come rolling into you. All of these things make you more sure of yourself, of what you want, and of what has been trying to grow and get through the cracks for a while now. There's a freedom that you experience. There's a level of enjoyment you haven't felt in a while, and that can cause you, so all this good, look at all this whole golden road here can make one feel extremely free, extremely grateful. Focus on the grateful, but it can also make you on the borderline of brave. And what are you actually doing? Okay, in Libra terms, what are you actually wearing, or is it fashion? You're kind of like, okay, that's dope, but like, is it just dope because they're on a runway full of other things that, that look similar, or is this person just not aware of what they're doing here? It's that kind of judgment. So that's the kind of discernment you need right now. And as this month rolls out, especially towards Scorpio season, where it starts because you're entering a fellow water sign, when this begins to deepen, you may even start to make even more money. It might start to happen right away. Everything that begins to present itself now and in the weeks to come. You have a chance and to remain confident, remain steady, remain in your worth without doing something just because you have all this extra energy. Maybe accepting this offer, or seeing like something reveals itself to you where you're like, this seems really good, but then why wasn't it here before? Or I feel like going to do this, or being overly romantic. So yes, it's a lot about relationship, your relation to money, what you want, how you're going to get there. And this was very an independent streak, but you realize you want to do it with someone. However, it might not be the person who showed up this month. Don't go like balls in with someone who you're unsure of. You want to be sure. You don't want to take a risk just because it's an opportunity that presents itself. Not like that right now. It's not really time to do that. If you're in a relationship, this is about you guys accumulating and doing so well together that you're thinking about doing something risky. I would wait till Scorpio season and how that plays out, because that's when we see the very extreme opposition in how money and wealth is distributed in life, because we're entering the holiday seasons. So I would wait, but obviously do what you want, but I would wait. At least when Mercury goes direct in Libra, that's when so much is going to start to begin to roll out, from idea to form to giving you more form in life, and seeing how other people see you as well, like really pulling in and having certain people that you are so happy that notice you. And yes, it's giving you somewhat of a validation, but it's only giving you that validation that what you're doing is what you need to keep doing. It's not like, oh, I got their validation, I'm gonna be like, everything else is bullshit. No, that's where you differ. That's where this season can't pull you in. It can get a little murky, so just be careful about who you share things with. What gets exposed to you about other people, about yourself. It doesn't have to be something where you talk about everything and anything, and all of a sudden it's Scorpio season, you're like, holy shit, what did I say? So that might be on your mind, and maybe weighing in on you a little bit. But what you need to know is that if you need any advice, seek out someone that you have much respect for, someone maybe that you want to be like, or you see yourself being like that, or they gave you permission by being themselves to be even more yourself, to want the things you want. It doesn't mean that you want what they want or what they have, but they chose something so different than what even you're used to that you're like, oh, there's other options. This person has maybe influenced your life. So if you need that, that's the person that you need to seek out, because an opportunity will present itself that seems really iffy, like we were talking about in the beginning, and that's not what's needed right now. Because it only reveals to you, like it's like when they say when you have money, what's revealed to you is like how you use it. Like that's how you know the kind of person you are. It just amplifies the person that you already are, what was already hiding. So that's okay if you want to be out here and be all flashy, or like show yourself in a different way. That's fine. Take it in, do whatever. But then notice how maybe you start taking action in your life and where that is. I would say if you want to do a solo trip, or if you want to travel with someone you really care about, that's something like totally up your alley this month. Just when the time rolls around, don't have an expectation that they might not follow through. That's all. And what it shows is that they're just not where you're at. They're maybe more attached to whatever's going on with them that they're not sharing, something that you may not know, something they may not even be aware of themselves, something that this invitation or this trip, when it comes closer, it starts to trigger them. It could be an Aries in your life, but just know that, remind yourself of all of the things externally and how you feel internally, and you really won't feel as bothered. You'll realize like, oh, I really don't feel as bothered as maybe I once have, because you know that you just pull in, especially right now, even if this is someone that you've known for a while, that you're pulling in exactly who you need and what you need in your life right now, and anything you don't is leaving and exiting in a way that is so much easier for you to process. Because of last month, so Virgo season probably showed you something that you're prepared for it to roll out, and it gave you just like some foresight, and you already have great foresight, but it gave you even more, and you're trusting it more. Remember that the High Priestess is like the most important card here this month, and so it's a very similar card to this, that how you feel alone. So even if you're out with people and you find yourself feeling some type of way, or you're even at home if you live with anyone, what I would advise you to do is to find a space you can be alone. Sometimes it's the bathroom, or even a bathroom stall, where you get this physical thing of being alone. You can close your eyes, not close your eyes, however you feel comfortable, and just notice how you feel without being around other people. Then I want you to ask yourself out loud or internal, doesn't matter, just be very clear when you ask yourself, if this is mine. If it's not yours, usually it will go away. It feels like a weird thing to do at first. You might want to do it multiple times until you really get a clear answer, because if you're questioning the answer, or even asking yourself that because it feels weird, then you're not going to get a very clear answer. It's just like if you're feeling like you don't know, like it's like when you go like ask a tarot reader or your friend like what they think about this guy, but you're really unsure of him anyway, so I don't know why you're stressing about it. Then you realize that the stress is just coming from the confusion, but what you do know is that you don't care that much, and that's like, and by leaning into that answer, it helps you relieve some of this extra energy and this worry and wondering, because you actually don't care. And if you know you cared more, you would be more invested, because that's how you work. So that's what's falling away more smoothly, and it feels like it's being fed to you so easily this month. However, it then begins to affect your entire life in a way that's really beneficial, in a way that's very soft and sweet, something you've needed. And you can be that way, absolutely, but it's something that you need, and something that you need more frequently than you allow yourself to admit. So it's time to switch that up. And that could look many different ways. You know, sometimes maybe you just need to ease up on your body a little, or give yourself a little more, or a little more of something than you normally do. Like, no need to be extra rigid this month. It's already that. It's already weird, okay? All right. We will see you next month.